director Tom Holland. Hi.
Surprise. Yeah, he's on his way.
How's everyone? I guess for the two of you that were actually here in Chicago filming this, what's it like being back here? What do you remember about being in this city?
I've always loved Chicago.
Oh, hold on.
I've always loved Chicago. I went to Northwestern Theater School. So did you?
Journalism. I went to journalism school at Northwestern. Yeah, here you go. Yeah, so there you go.
I left after 1 year, but anyway, I love Chicago.
It's not as cold this time. We filmed it in the winter. It was freezing. I have a memory that it was like the coldest winter they had in 50 years or something like that. But it was brutally cold. So it's much better to be here in August.
Yeah, as far as cold goes, I remember I had to, this is a thing about playing bad guys. You're always running through the streets in the middle of the night while the stars are home in a warm bed. And this was definitely true for me. And I can remember running through the streets and then laying in agony for 15 minutes at the bottom, just moaning because my lungs were burned from the cold. That's how cold it was. The thing is, I remember that, and I remember one other thing about Chicago. This was a long time ago, and that was the museum, the Academy of Art Museum. It shocked me at how good it was. And I was expecting, a metropolitan museum, but I saw stuff there that really, a couple of Degas, and I don't know, there was, the big room with the floor-to-ceiling diptychs and everything, just blew me away. So those two things I remember. I kind of remember I did a movie here, but that's minor,
I have a question about the casting of Brad and Tom. I was going to ask this. Was his voice part of why you cast him as the actual guy?
No, it was because Brad had played the bad guy in Fatal Beauty with Whoopi Goldberg, which I had
It was
directed
a great
just
movie,
before I
by the way.
did this.
And so so were you, Brad? Did you do some preparation? You already had the part live. Was your voice different when you were doing Chucky? Did you try to make it more animated?
I'm going to be really honest with you. I have no idea what was going through my head. It was a long time ago. I did work on a Chicago accent because it was Chicago, so I wanted a little bit of a rasp. And I do remember thinking something about not playing. Charles Lee Ray was a misogynist, killer of women, and I do remember feeling like I needed to push him a little bit away from that feeling, and so that he didn't become a rapist. He just became a murdering creature. And I wanted to make him extremely pissed off. I remember feeling that was somehow important.
Yeah, Brad is an Academy, nominated Academy Award character actor, and he's just great. So, yes. The interesting story is about the voice, which is what it's become now famous for, is Chucky's voice. Not to say anything against the acting, but the voice work has become worldwide in what he's done with Chucky's voice. So, and let's see, when I started in post on that, first I had to get the electric voice of the doll, when it was the good guy doll, and I put a filter on that to get that electric quality. And then I thought, well, I'll continue that with the know I decided not to do that when he came in and started to perform. But I had gone through other people, and I don't think you were there. You weren't available or something.
Yeah, no. I was shooting Mississippi Burning.
Okay, so I didn't have Chucky's voice. I know that I tried a terrific actress in the Clint Eastwood movie where he's the DJ and the woman goes crazy over him and attacks him. Play Misty for me. Whoever the woman. Jessica Walters. I had Jessica Walters in, and I tried her voice with Chucky, if you can imagine that. And I had other people. And I was also treating it with various, trying to get that electric. And then you came in, and we had a lot of fun. What he got was the wickedness. He got the wicked joy that Chucky had, and it was because of that little scene in the elevator works so well. That's why that's such a huge laugh. That's the voice. Anyway, it worked out obviously extremely well.
So you tried putting filters on it, putting like an electronic filter on his voice, and it
I
didn't
did.
work.
It impeded the performance.
Yeah.
I can't remember if it killed it or not,
Yeah.
but it worked better without any kind of filter on it.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
The thing I guess I learned from that, because I was doing Mississippi Burning, and I remember looking at because I heard that some of the vocal work before, and my feeling is that bottom line, horror comes from this idea of a monster. You gotta have a monster. If you don't have a horror film, you don't have a monster. And a monster, my next door neighbor who loved horror films, said a monster is someone who is out to get you with whom you cannot negotiate. You're prey, basically. And so that's what Chucky needed to be, and I put it to myself this way: Chucky needed to be the creature who will turn a living, breathing human being into a piece of meat. And if he's that, he can be funny, he can be anything, but he has to be that.
Now, you may not remember it now, but when you're introduced to Charles Lee Ray, that's the opening hook. After you don't even know what's going on, but you know somehow this terrible killer has gotten itself in the body of that doll. And the minute that doll is sold to the mother and she gives it to the little boy, you ain't going nowhere. And it starts out with the electronic voice of the doll, and then his voice slowly comes in, as I remember. And it's just his voice alone coming in off the doll's voice it's a shiver in itself.
I want to jump in here because, Tom, this is something we've talked about before. But for me, the thing that I always connected with Child's Play and with Fright Night is the fact that you made these really great stories about single parents sort of navigating this world with these kids. And a lot of that comes from, Alex as Andy in this movie. Can you guys talk about sort of that relationship that you guys had? Because you're putting this little boy through so much torment in this, and there's a lot of really great kid performances in horror, but I think Alex as Andy are one of the best that we've ever had. Like, I think you and Daniel Harris in Halloween 4, it's like those are the two of the best we've ever seen. And I was hoping you could talk about sort of that.
That's an Alex question, because it's hard to believe now, but he's only 6 years old, and he was going through difficult times. Alex, it's yours.
Yeah, it was the first real on the script, which was devastating for me. But I was very smart at 6 years old, so I knew what I needed to do with that. I knew that the innocence of that character was kind of crucial to it being as scary as it could possibly be. And Tom was very, very specific about what he wanted from me. And I was 6, so I don't remember all of it that well. But the line at the end, where I say, "This is the end, friend," and then I set him on fire. I remember Tom very specifically wanted me to say it exactly as I did end up saying it in the film, and when I nailed it, he grabbed me and threw me up in the air like, "You did it! You did it!" He was so excited. And then I remember him being pissed off and cursing a lot, needing to be taken off the site. So Tom calmed down quite a bit. Also, the relationship that
I missed that. Maybe thankfully I missed that.
No, but that was my first actor-director relationship that I ever had.
Very, extremely intense.
Yeah.
Look, you can't act innocent. You either are or you aren't. And he was. I mean, I can't, I saw so many children. I mean, he doesn't remember now, but I got down under a table and played toys with him. You know, and it was just there, and there was something else going on too. So there was even at 6 years old, you could watch him, and something was going on behind the eyes. 6-year-old kid. And the innocence was there.
Yeah, I mean...
Did I yell at you for something?
No, not at me. Just in general, if you were swearing a lot and intense,
Oh yeah.
I had to get off the set.
Yeah.
I heard him swear all the time, but that was part of the
Well, you have no.
I wasn't
there.
You have no idea how cold it was. We kept the cameras in the camera truck, and we changed them out every 20 minutes because it was so cold it was freezing the oil in the cameras. And it was locking up my cameras.
No, I think it's a great thing that your voice was there, though, because it really gave something better to act to. If I was listening to some script lady read those lines,
Very hard.
it wouldn't have worked at all. Maybe I don't know. It's important.
I had a vision with that film. Well, I knew dramatically how I wanted it to work,
Yeah,
and it did.
it did.
Fucking amazing.
That's why we're here 30 years later.
Yeah, I mean, incredible. Thank you. These are brilliant actors. You know, look at performances.
I think the last thing I want to ask before we bring in a couple more quick guests is and just walking around here the last few hours and seeing so many people carrying this doll around, and it is one of the most iconic images in a horror film I think ever. I want to know about how you settled on this design. Like who came up with the idea? I mean, I understand you making him redhead because redheads are the demon's spawn. So, but I mean, other than that, like, how did you just sort of design what he was going to look like and how he was going to change? And I want to know just like initial, like.
I got into it because of My Buddy. Anybody remember the My Buddy doll? Okay. Well, that's what got me into it, and I crossed My Buddy with a Raggedy Andy. You know, and you had all these merchandising opportunities built into the film, and so they had to be happy colors, and he had to go from being from being
Yeah.
sweet and lovely, and
A good guy to a bad guy.
That's right. So so it had to have things in the face that I could darken, and there had to be something very scary, and the red hair is part of it. But if you look at it's very, very, how do you describe it? I don't know. You knew the doll would be a huge commercial hit. It was believable as that in terms of the design, the happy design.
Yeah.
And then going to hell from there.
Yet they still never marketed actual good guy dolls, which is amazing.
Well, they split the rights.
Yeah.
They split the
I
rights.
guess that had a lot to do with it.
But anyway, I should also say we wouldn't, given a nod of credit, we wouldn't be here talking about this if it wasn't for the Chucky series that Mancini does.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's kept spreading as an image. Chucky, no, I have no clue. None.
The thing about My Buddy dolls that I think is funny too is that after Chucky, everybody destroyed their My Buddy dolls. They ripped their heads off, and they buried them in their backyard, and they went out of business. So in a sense, Chucky killed My Buddy.
There was nothing that Chucky would not destroy in 1988. We're going to go ahead and bring up a few lovely ladies from the Chucky and Child's Play series. We've got Christina Lee of Chucky? Has everybody seen Cult of Chucky? Okay, I'm really sorry. We're gonna have to spoil stuff because we got stuff to discuss. Because we were told that we were going to talk about the future of where Chucky is going, and clearly we leave things on a very bold mark. In terms of your character, Christine comes in, and we've got Alex. So for you guys who were the veterans of this franchise, how cool was it, to be able to be in a really clever and thoughtful way?
It's fucking awesome. I was mad I wasn't in Child's Play 3. Dead. I was mad that I wasn't in Child's Play 3, so I've been bitter for a long time. So it was really good to come back, and that's just, who wouldn't want to come back? This is awesome, right?
Alex, how about for you?
I watched, when 3 came out, when 3 was being made, I was very disappointed that I wasn't going to be in it also, and that my character still was. So that was tough. And then in high school, Bride of Chucky came out, and it was a really big deal, and I had nothing to do with it. So that was tough. And then seeing Chucky, and then I became good friends again with Don Mancini, who I idolized when I was a kid because he had a great job and a cool car, so then when I became close with him again, he knew very much that I would love to be a part of it. And then when news of the curse came out, he knew very well that I would have loved an opportunity to come back to that character, especially since I don't really act much anymore. So yeah, when he gave me the call and he told me that he wrote something for me. He told me, don't skip to the end, read the entire thing,
And did you?
I did. I didn't skip to the end. No, I read the whole thing. And you were skipped. I didn't though. And then I got to go there and fly there and shoot that scene, and then I had to lie to everybody about it for a year because it was supposed to be a surprise. So I was thrilled and appreciative, and yeah.
Now, Fiona, I have to say, okay, I was just gonna say, so I have to admit and geek out a little bit that when Cult of Chucky finished with that final shot with you and Jennifer, I probably jumped out of my couch and was like screamed like F yeah, because I was so excited, because I think what's really cool about this series, like, Chucky is fantastic, Charles Lee Ray has been this driving force, and now the women are getting this moment, and I think that's so freaking cool. First of all, can you talk about that, and then also getting to be able to sort of channel your dad in a way that has to be really surreal.
I thought you were going to ask me what it's like to make out with Jennifer Tilly, which is, I think,
That's
like the number one
next
question of my
I
life.
have.
It's great. I hope everybody gets a chance to do it at some point in their life. It was
So do we.
it was negative 40 degrees in Winnipeg during all of that, and I was supposed to be barefoot walking out of the hospital. It was written that way, but it was so cold it was literally illegal. They were like, we can't possibly get a permit for you to be outside with no shoes on for more than, it was like 4 seconds, and I could lose a toe or something. So there's that detail, which I hope nobody noticed in it, that I was shaking in the scenes. And what was your other question?
Being able to sort of channel your dad
Oh
at the
yeah,
end,
it was
too.
cool. It was cool. What'd you think, Pop?
About what?
I don't know. Did I get your laugh down? I guess that was the question.
About Fiona being able to play
yeah.
Yeah, I just, I remember you coming to, when I was doing the voice and you popping in and I was screaming because I was being burned to death, and this was an ADR, and you running away and hiding, so somewhere deep down there, it was a chance to let some of that out.
It was meant to be, yeah.
No wonder I was such an abusive parent.
It all pays off. I actually wasn't totally sure if that memory was real. I was a little scared that it was fabricated. You know how you could do that? But it was real, and I hid. Basically, I walked into my dad doing ADR, and I must have been 7 or 6. And he was in a booth, and he was screaming like he was dying, like screaming in agony. And I think I ran and hid, and they had to find me.
image you do to kids in the film. I didn't know that. 7 years old you were there when we were doing that?
Younger.
Okay. You
Right,
were-
or 6 or something? I don't know. Just
I
kidding,
think
I'm
one of the
25.
hardest things in the world is to be a kid who works and then to grow up and to be an adult. And I think that because I listened to all of Roddy McDowell's stories. Because Roddy won an Academy Award at 8 years old.
There you go.
Think about that. How do you top that?
What have you done?
I know we're going to turn it over to the audience in a second, but for those of you looking at where this goes in the future, I know we've got a different movie, we've got a TV series. I'm not sure, like, necessarily what the game plan is, but for you guys, where would you like to see your characters going? I know, there's nothing you could probably say about in terms of what you do know, but in your mind, where's the ideal place you would see your characters go into the future?
I'm sorry, can I jump on this? So I don't know how, we've actually never discussed this, but I don't want to be Nica anymore. I want to be Charles E. Ray. Is that okay? Man who's like, whose career I'm stealing?
I think that
You can't take me from me.
All right, we'll discuss later. Okay, how about you?
I actually talked to Don. Alex and I both are friends with Don in real life too, and so we both get to like have his ear a bit. And so when he told me I was coming back, there were a bunch of different ideas of what would happen with my character. The earlier ones maybe even involved my character dying, which was not my ideal situation. But I thought she should be an assassin, that she should come back and having her time in between from leaving 2 to coming back in Cult, that she should have been an assassin in the interim. And I feel like that's sort of possible from her little appearance in her Black Panther gear in Child's Play 2, with black leather hat that was actually my hat, same hat in Cult too. So I like that her. This mic is fucked up. There you go.
Switch mic.
I would just think it's your turn.
No.
Wow,
Whose turn?
Fiona, being edited.
I don't know what just happened up here.
I don't know yet.
We don't know what's going on either. We're glad we made the films and we're all here.
Yeah, well, this television series idea I think is fantastic. I think that Cult opened up a lot of new stories and new possibilities, and Chucky has taken over several dolls, and Fiona and Nica.
And the world.
And I hope I get to kill them all.
Excellent. We are looking forward to watching you do it too. We have time for 2 questions from the audience. If you have a question, make sure it's awesome. No pressure. We will run right over to you. And I think it's yours.
All right. Oh, okay, sorry. Christina, Elise, you're wonderful. I love you from everything. Beverly Hills 90210, Child's Play 2, Cult of Chucky. I hope you come back and kick ass because you were wonderful at the end. I was so shocked and surprised and happy that you came back on. Alex, Vincent, I want to go ahead and ask you a question. Do you think Catherine Hicks and Chris Randon might come back also to replay their parts as well?
I don't know. It's a kind of a 2-part question, because it's will Karen and Mike have a reason to come back into the franchise, and then would Catherine or Chris want to do that? So I really don't know at all. I couldn't even give you an answer because I couldn't even give you an answer because I have no idea. That's all on Don Mancini and them, and what Don decides he wants to happen next. I think that would be fun, but yeah, I don't know.
Okay. All right, right here.
And thank you.
You're welcome.
I got the mic.
This is for each of you. Which, obviously, aside from part 1, which is your least and most favorites of the sequels?
Jesus. No pressure. No.
I'll answer right away. I think Cult is the best of the whole franchise. I think I love where it ended up. I love how brave Don Mancini has been through the whole franchise and changing it up and taking risks and reinventing it all the time while always staying true to every character he invented. Every character is still alive and respected in every subsequent installment. Fucking Mike! That I think called it, for my money, called the best in the franchise so far.
Come on, people.
I love Curse and Cult also. I think if I had to pick a favorite sequel since the first film would be Child's Play 2, but I do love the new ones very much. And my least favorite is Part 3.
Ditto.
Yeah, I have to. My favorite is Bride, just because I felt the script was so consistent with itself, and it was so exactly what that type of. That's when horror became very self-referential, and I thought Don Mancini did that in such a brilliant way, using Bride of Frankenstein as a to create this new and different story. And I thought Jennifer Tilly's character was really fun, and also it was the first time I wasn't alone in the recording studio, and it was really nice to have someone when I was doing the voices to really bounce off. You know, I think Jennifer added a huge amount to the franchise. Anyway, to create this new and different story, and I thought Jennifer Tilly's character was really fun, and also it was the first time I wasn't alone in the recording studio, and it was really nice to have someone when I was doing the voices to really bounce off. You know, I think Jennifer added a huge amount to the franchise. Anyway,